Hello, I'm just playing some more Season Discovery, trying to find this rune in Desolus. I just want to talk about the gold thing that's going on in Season Discovery. I didn't really play Phase 1, but I've been reading on Reddit and other YouTube videos and people talking about how they're getting banned for things like, there was one guy I read, he said, I traded my wife 40 gold to help her get her mount, and then he got banned 14 days. Then I read another one that talked about a group of people who were farming older man, and they got a hammer that's quite sought after that dropped in there. I don't know the name of it, but they sold it on the auction house and split the profit 5 ways, and then they all got 14-day bans as well. And then there's some other ones as well where, like, there was a healer who got offered 40 gold to go and heal Gnomrigon, and he accepted it, got paid the gold in the raid, and then he got a 14-day suspension as well. Now, I've been on Reddit reading for a lot the last couple of days, and I keep seeing all these stories coming up. I keep seeing all these stories pop up of people saying, I traded gold in a window, got banned, or I sold something on the auction house for a load of gold and got 14-day suspension, and then when they try and appeal the ban, all they get is a bot response from the games masters or customer service, whatever you want to call it these days. I mean, because I was thinking I was going to get this to 40, get some decent gear, and then boost stockades to make gold. But now I'm worried that I'm going to get a ban for doing that. And I think it's really bad. Like, if these stories are true, that people are getting banned for doing normal stuff in the game, which is, I think boosting is a perfectly reasonable thing to do. It fits the narrative of you paying like a mercenary to help you, in the fantasy sort of, what would you call it, framing of the game. Kind of makes sense where you pay someone to help you get through a dungeon, because like, there's so many stories about that sort of thing, like in the fantasy sphere. So I've never really had a problem with boosting or think it's, bad for the game. But I'm just really concerned that all these people are playing, doing normal things, and they're getting 14-day suspensions, perma bans, and all these sort of things. And then you go through the comments on Reddit, and then you see a bunch of other people saying, for example, that guy that traded his wife or whatever, he says there's people in his guild that he knows for a fact buy gold and talk about buying gold all the time on Discord and in the game, and nothing happens to them. Now, the other thing people have mentioned is that the source of the gold was from real money transactions or real world transactions, whatever you want to call it, RMT. Now, how is it the fault of someone that receives RMT gold, and then the person that's gave them the RMT gold, nothing happens to them, but an innocent person that's just trying to play the game normally gets a 14-day suspension because someone else has brought gold, not been picked up by the whatever tracks it, and then some innocent person that's just playing the game normally is getting a suspension. And then the other part on Reddit is everyone saying this is a psyop and it's all people just lying and making it up. But, I can't see why you'd write such a story that was made up. Like, you know, when you open a trade window and just trade someone gold or lend gold. Like I see a lot of people saying I lent gold to my guild members, and then when they paid it back, they got a 14-day ban for getting the gold return which they originally lent. Then there was also another story I saw. I don't know how true this is, but this was on Asmongold. And the guy said he got a ban for gold trade originally, and then he made another Battle.net account with no Warcraft subscription on it, and then he put in a ticket to try and appeal a ban, and he just got a copy-paste response saying they're not going to do anything about the ban. A ban's a ban. But he didn't even have a Warcraft subscription on that account. So, I mean, obviously, buying gold is a massive problem, and all the bots. I see lots of posts about the bots. I've not really seen any bots myself, but I've seen videos of the bots when they like all spawn and all run into a tree. Or I've seen videos from Living Flame today where you've seen people running backwards and forwards, like 3-4 at a time, back and forwards from stockades to the vendor, sort of thing. I'm not even sure. I'm looking for a hammer around here somewhere. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it because I kind of wanted to boost stockades to make gold, because I've not got much gold on Classic at all. But what do you do to combat the problem? Like, obviously, if Blizzard are banning innocent people, you know, are they going to address it? Or are these bans real? Are these people lying that they've brought the gold from websites and then they've been caught out and now they're trying to appeal to the people on Reddit? But I just can't see why you go to the trouble of making a post on Reddit to lie about something, and then all the responses on Reddit are like liar, 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 and like the banning of the GDKPs as well, I think has really contributed towards prices going up, because I think the GDKPs kept the prices down on things because most people would get their gear from the GDKPs, but now people are having to buy from the auction house instead of being able to get into the GDKP runs. So I think in hindsight, I think banning the GDKPs was, for me, it's the thing, like, there's a very loud minority in the Warcraft community who don't know what they're talking about, but will complain endlessly about, is this it here? Is this the hammer? No, they don't know what they're talking about, but they'll complain endlessly about things like the one for me that really, really pissed me off was when they made the changes to the heirlooms and they made the changes to the dungeons. I think it was just at the end of Legion, just before the start of BFA, something like that anyway. So they were complaining that one-shotting things with heirlooms is no fun, and it's like, well, that's the whole point of heirlooms, is that you can blitz leveling and be done in half the time. But if you want to have a different leveling experience, just take the heirlooms off. Like, I don't understand why these people complain and complain to get the game changed, and then basically dungeon leveling was an absolute slog because Blizzard had done something, I don't know, all the back end stuff, whatever, and it had made it so the experience and the damage, so that, like, doing a leveling dungeon was really difficult because the mobs were a lot harder to kill and it took a lot longer. And I used to really enjoy dungeon leveling, and the time walking as well. The time walking used to be something you could bash out in half an hour, like 5 runs, 10 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever. It's better now, but when the change happened, I just stopped doing it because it's such a, like, the Burning Crusade ones were literally unbelievably difficult to do. And if you joined like Alcatraz or whatever, unless you had some like well-geared people, I know it scales, but obviously when you've got the the better gear you do more damage and whatnot. So it made time walking not fun. It made leveling dungeons not fun because it just became an absolute slog because of these crybabies that want an immersive leveling experience. And it's like, and the same people that complain about flying mounts just don't use it. You know, oh, I don't see the world. I don't get to see the world. I don't get to see. Just don't use your flying mount. It's pretty straightforward. You haven't got to ruin the game for people that don't want to do those things. Like, I like fast leveling. I like flying mounts. I don't like having to mess around with these things when I can do them much quicker. And it just really gets on my nerves that this vocal community that think they know what they're talking about, like the GDKP thing, has caused all of these knock-on effects. The botting's worse than it was before. The RTM's worse than it was before. All because of some crybabies that can't get into GDKP runs because they, well, you know, don't have any gold and don't play the game properly and just, you know, super casual. It really gets on my nerves. And then I'm trying to think of another change that was really unnecessary that they did from the vocal. But the biggest one to me is that the people cry about flying mounts, don't get to see the world, don't use your flying mount, pretty straightforward. Or when, you know, leveling's too fast because I one-shot mobs and heirlooms, will take your heirlooms off, you idiot. It's not hard, is it? It's not like it's rocket science. But anyway, I hope Blizzard address these. If they are false bans, I hope they address them soon and, you know, do something about it. Maybe they are all lying, I don't know. But again, I really can't see why you go to the trouble of writing a very long Reddit post and then participate in the comments just to have everyone shit on you and call you a liar. I mean, I've never had an issue with, you know, bans or whatever. I had a forced name change one time in my entire Warcraft history. And then I was reading another post today, and a guy asked, he said he asked all the people in his guild why they buy gold, and it's understandable because, I mean, you know, I've got a job, got a kid, got a wife, and, like, you know, it does save a lot of time when, you know, like, instead of spending forever grinding stuff to sell on the auction house or grinding quests or whatever to make 40 gold, you can just pay some guy $5 and get 100 gold like that. I mean, personally, I think they should put the token into Season of Discovery, and I think that would combat a lot of it. I mean, I guess the community would go absolutely batshit mental if they did put it in, but I think it would save a lot of trouble. I really do. Because the integrity of Season of Discovery is falling apart as it is with the amount of, you know, RTM that's going on. I know it was really prevalent in Lich King, but I only played a tiny bit of Lich King. I was mainly on retail. But I've actually played quite a lot of Season of Discovery now, and the prices of some things on the auction house are nuts. And as I say, I've got 63 gold from leveling up, and I don't know how I'm going to, I mean, because I'm a paladin, I'll get the mount, but I don't know how I'd fund other things if my stockade boost thing doesn't work out. And what I'm worried about is that I'm going to boost, I mean, it will work, but I'm worried that I'm going to get RTM gold, and then I'll know my luck, because my Warcraft account is cursed, I swear it is, my luck, I'll end up getting a permaban or something for taking some, you know, three gold that was from an RMT. But I do think Blizzard need to, I mean, obviously they've sacked all those staff, but their customer service was dog shit before that anyway, so, you know, not that it makes much difference because it's terrible now and it was terrible before. From what I read, I mean, my personal experience, the only time I had some bugs in Legion which prevented me from getting the item to craft a legendary, so I missed out on a couple of million gold from crafting legendaries that I could have sold. And every time it happened, they were like, lol, just try next week. And I'm like, well, That's another 600k that I've lost because your game's not working. And I understand they can't just, just fix it, like, sort of thing. But you'd think when you're paying $9.99 a month, they'd have some customer service. I mean, I don't know. Don't know what to think really, whether it is true or not. All of these people saying they're getting banned for just trading gold, getting banned for selling things on the auction house. Who knows?